Hello everybody and welcome back, and in this tutorial let us see what we can actually do in order to be able to receive and send as much data as we want. So for example, some function, or not some function, some command will actually retrieve a larger amount of bytes than the 1024 bytes. For example, some netstat command could be retrieving like 2000 bytes or something like that, so we want to actually fix it so it can receive any amount that the command output is. So we will add two different functions right here, which we will then need to add in the reverse shell as well. So for now on, we will call the send function reliable_send. And what we will paste in that function is the actual data for to send to the target. All we need to do right now is import a library which will allow us to finish our process with these two functions. And basically, let me just add another function, which will be reliable_receive. This function will be used to receive data, and we will use JSON in order to perform this process of sending and receiving as much bytes as we want. So in order to send the data, we need to create some variable which we can call JSON_data. You can call it anything you want, but it needs to perform the dumps function, so JSON.dumps on the actual data that we specified as an argument to this function right here. So after we do that, we can just simply send the actual data with the same sock.send function, or not sock, in our case should be target.send. Since we specified the target to be the actual socket object for the target machine, we need to target.send, and what we are sending is the JSON data. So this is the actual entire sending function, and we will be using this reliable send function to send any data from now on. We will not be using target.send anymore in any case. Now we want to code the reliable send. We need to also make a variable which we can just call data and specify the data to be empty. So we specify that just by opening double quotes and closing double quotes right after. Make sure to not have space right here, otherwise this will actually give the empty space to this variable. We need to open the while true loop in order to receive the data for as long as there is something to receive. So what we will try to do is we will try an except rule, which will allow us to actually receive. So if I just type right here, data equals data, which will be empty data, plus target.receive, and we want to receive 1024 bytes. We close the brackets, and we actually want to return JSON.loads function, so that is a function in the JSON library, from the data that we received. So in any other case, or if we get any error, we want to actually use the except value error. Now let me just write this and I will explain what this means. We want to continue the process. So let's explain this function so you can understand it a little bit better. What we did right here is, first of all, we created a simple variable, data, which is empty. Then we entered a while true loop, and in this while true loop, what we will do is we will try to receive the data. We will try to receive 1024 bytes, and we will try to return that data to the actual shell function right here. In case we get any error, or not any error, in our case value error, which means that we actually trying to receive less bytes than the output of that command was. So that means that we actually still have some bytes left to add to this data. What we will do, we will then continue, which will go to the beginning of our true loop, and then it will add those remaining bytes to the data. And it will perform all of this until the entire data has been sent and stored in this data variable. Then we can return the data variable and print the output of that command. So one thing we need to make sure as well is right here, instead of using this target.send right now in our shell function, we need to use reliable_send to send the command, and in order to receive the actual output, we need to use reliable_receive, and make sure to remove the 1024 bytes, since our reliable receive doesn't take any argument in the brackets, so we will not specify anything right here. Everything else can remain the same. So let us save this program and let us copy these two functions, since here we will actually paste same functions in the reverse shell side of code, just we will do minor changes to that part of these, or to the part of those functions where we specify the sending and receiving. So paste these two functions in the reverse shell code and change every target.send and every target.receive into actually sock.send and sock.receive. Since the target variable is not actually something we have in the reverse shell program, so make sure to specify right here sock.send JSON data, and right here make sure to specify sock.receive. And also in the shell function we need to specify that command equals reliable underscore receive. We want to receive data with this function, and we want to actually, let me just see, send the result with the reliable send. So right now, if we coded everything successfully without any error, we should be able to send and retrieve any amount of data that the user or that the target sends back to us. So let us save this. Now let's test our program to see if it works. Let me just put this down here. Run the server. We are listening for incoming connections. Then run the reverse shell. Let's execute ls. Global name JSON is not defined. Okay, so in order to fix that, the reason why the global name JSON is not defined is because in our reverse shell code we forgot to import JSON library. So make sure to have imported JSON library in both server and reverse shell code. And let us run it once again. Okay, server already, or pardon me, address already in use. We will just restart the terminal as I showed you before. Once you get that, just make sure to restart the terminal. Run the server once again. Run the reverse shell. Execute, for example, ls. It works. ifconfig netstat.-nr works as well. Whoami works. So basically anything that we do now works. We will be able to receive any amount of data, and our program will not crash if the data is bigger than 1024 bytes. Let us specify Q in order to close the connection. We can see it worked perfectly, and our program is now even better than it was in the previous video. We got a fully functioning reverse shell that can only execute commands from now on, but what we will do from now is actually specify some different things that our reverse shell will be able to do, such as, for example, download files, upload files. We will try to perform the connection every certain period of time. We will also try to perform the screenshot function that will actually screenshot the target's PC. We will also check for the user privileges or administrator privileges, and we will see how we can hide our program or our backdoor somewhere where the user will never find it. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope I see you in the next one where we will continue coding. Bye!